Back in the day, in the mid-20th century, there were two companies that completely dominated the American dream of driving: Ford and General Motors. I mean, can you believe it? By 1950, GM alone was selling more than 50% of all the cars in the U.S. market. And Ford? Their trucks and cars were everywhere, from New York to San Francisco. They were symbols of American economic power. Billions in profit, thousands of dealerships, and factories that employed hundreds of thousands of people. They were untouchable. But today, the game's changed big time. Their biggest rivals aren't old-school car companies anymore. They're tech giants like Tesla and super-fast Chinese companies like BYD. The big question is a 100-year legacy enough to survive? Can factories built on sweat and steel compete in an era of algorithms and self-driving cars? Or are we about to witness the fall of giants, just like what happened to Nokia? That's what we're going to dive into today. The story starts in 1903, when Henry Ford founded his company with a single goal: to build a car for everyone. But the real revolution came in 1913 when he introduced the moving assembly line. This genius idea cut the time it took to build a car from 12 hours to less than 2. The result? The Model T became so affordable its price dropped from $850 to just $260 by 1925. Suddenly, every average American family could afford a car. General Motors, though, took a different approach. Under the leadership of Alfred Sloan, they introduced the idea of a car for every purse. Instead of one model, GM offered a range of brands, from cheap Chevrolets all the way up to luxury Cadillacs. The idea was simple but brilliant. Instead of buying one car for life, customers would upgrade every few years. Sloan basically invented the annual model change that dominated the auto industry for decades. And the real boom came after World War II. These factories were the backbone of the war effort, cranking out tanks and planes. After the war, with the American economy booming, sales exploded. Ford and GM weren't just car companies. They were symbols of American might. Then the new millennium hits and along comes Tesla. But Tesla wasn't just a car company. It was a tech company. They shocked the entire industry with an idea that sounded crazy at the time: updating your car over the air just like your phone. An electric car that could get better without a trip to the mechanic went against every rule the industry had lived by for decades. And their batteries? They offered a 300-mile range, and their AI software let the car learn from the driver. It all sounded like science fiction. While Tesla focused on passenger cars, another company, Rivian, chose a completely different path. The American truck market was Ford's kingdom, specifically with their F-150. But Rivian said, "What about an electric adventure truck?" Their all-electric pickup and SUV went after a whole new market of young customers looking for high performance and an adventurous lifestyle. It just proved that innovation could open up entirely new markets. Faced with these challenges, Ford and GM aren't just sitting around. They're making a massive push to catch up. Ford's strategy is to electrify their most famous vehicles. We've seen it with the F-150 Lightning, an electric version of their best-selling truck, and the Mustang Mach-E, which blends classic Mustang spirit with new electric tech. Ford is pouring billions of dollars into building huge electric vehicle and battery manufacturing complexes, like Blue Oval City in Tennessee. But they're not without their problems. Their EV division has been losing a ton of money recently, which has forced them to double down on their more profitable vehicles like big trucks. General Motors has a slightly different game plan. GM has invested a whopping $35 billion between 2020 and 2025 in developing EVs and self-driving tech. Their secret weapon is the Ultium battery platform. It allows them to build a wide range of electric vehicles, from massive trucks like the Hummer EV to popular cars like the Chevrolet Blazer EV. GM isn't just making cars. They're also using AI to analyze data and figure out the best places to build new charging stations, which helps with that whole range anxiety thing customers have. Today, the factory isn't just a place where steel gets put together. It's a massive industrial brain. Smart robots move with millimeter precision, and AI systems monitor quality control 24/7, analyzing data from thousands of cars before they even leave the plant. Tesla was a pioneer in integrating AI from the get-go, making them faster and way more efficient. But Ford and GM face a huge challenge, trying to retrofit factories that are 50 years old to work with these completely new systems. AI isn't just changing factories, it's changing how we drive. From driver assist systems that make us safer, to fully autonomous cars that could change transportation forever. Here too, GM was heavily investing in its self-driving subsidiary Cruise, but they faced some serious regulatory and safety issues. That's what led Ford to make a tough decision to pull its investment from Argo AI and announce they'd focus on developing driver assist technology instead of full self-driving, at least for now. On paper, Ford and GM have all the tools for success. Massive manufacturing experience, a global dealer network, and huge financial power. But in a world where things change every year, startups are just more agile. Their decisions are faster and their costs are lower. A decision that might take months to make at a huge company like GM can be made in days at a lean startup like Tesla. The real danger isn't just being slow, it's losing control of the technological future. Ford and GM were once the kings of engines, but can they become the kings of software and data? So here we are, in a race against time. The giants of the past, who built the world as we know it, are now facing the AI storm. Can they adapt? Can they transform themselves from engine builders to software innovators? The question we have to ask is this: 10 years from now, will we still see Ford and GM at the top? Or will we be telling their story as a great chapter from the past? On paper, Ford and GM have all the tools for success: massive manufacturing experience, a global dealer network, and huge financial power. But in a world where things change every year, startups are just more agile. Their decisions are faster and their costs are lower. A decision that might take months to make at a huge company like GM can be made in days at a lean startup like Tesla. Based on their moves, I believe GM has a slight edge over Ford right now. Their bet on the Ultium platform is smart, and it gives them a modular foundation to build a wide range of EVs. This is something Ford doesn't have to the same scale. However, both companies are still struggling to make their EV divisions profitable. Looking ahead, I predict they will both survive, but they will have to shed some of their old ways. They won't dominate the market like they used to. The future will be a more competitive landscape, with a mix of traditional giants, tech innovators, and powerful players from China all fighting for market share. They won't just be car makers, they'll have to become mobility companies that sell technology, not just vehicles. But what do you guys think? Will Ford and GM make it in this new era, or are they destined to fade into history? Let me know in the comments.